Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Megan Hardy, and I'm the founder of Fitness Uncharted, which is my fitness and nutrition coaching company that I created to help women who want to build muscle, lose fat, optimize your metabolism, and have complete food freedom. And today, talking about food freedom, we're going to actually be talking about exercise, quote unquote, snacks to boost your muscle protein synthesis, or AKA help you boost your muscle building efforts. So, we're not actually going to be talking about food today. We're going to be talking about exercise snacks as it relates to activity. And we're going to get into what I mean by that. Also, I currently have my dogs Rolo and Oreo in the room with me. And normally I kick them out when I go to record podcast episodes because without a doubt, they almost always end up barking at something before I finish recording. So I always regret it if I let them stay in the room with me. But we've been spending so much time. When I say we, I mean my husband and I, Justin. We've been spending so much time in the NICU recently with our baby boy Ryder that I feel bad for my dogs. That I'm like, this is like the 1 hour of the day that I'm at home right now. And the rest of the time I'm like spending at the NICU. So I'm letting them stay in here with me because I have a soft heart for my fur babies. And yeah, we're going to let them stay. And I'll probably regret it before the end of this episode. But anyway, let's jump on into the topic. So let's talk about exercise snacks. Exercise snacks, you guys. So you might have heard about snacks that you eat, right? We all love a good snack. You also might have heard, someone refer to like someone looking like a snack, like, "Ooh, girl, you look like a snack." Or shoot, you might be looking like a whole dang meal. You know what I mean? Um, but have you heard of an exercise snack? Is my question. Have you ever heard of that? I came across this study, and I actually can't remember where I first saw it or saw somewhere someone refer to this study about exercise snacks. But I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm going to share it with you guys on a podcast episode. So basically, the idea of an exercise, quote unquote, snack is that it's a small version of moving your body versus a full workout. Just like a snack that you eat is a small version of a full meal. So an exercise snack is just like you're not doing a full workout, right? You're just doing a little like movement snack. You're just like a little small version or small, you know, time frame of movement, right? So, on today's episode, I want to actually share with you a research study that was done on exercise snacks and then share with you like why you might want to incorporate them more into your routine. So, this like is so applicable for probably the majority of people listening to this, but I know it's applicable for every single one of my clients if you're listening to this too. When we talk about like how to just get more movement in throughout your day and why that is so critical, I hope that this episode is even more reassurance of like, oh, that is actually really important. Let me prioritize exercise snacks. So the study that I'm going to talk about, it was titled Walking or Body Weight Squat, quote unquote, activity snacks increase dietary amino acid utilization for myofibrillar protein synthesis during prolonged sitting. If that sounded like blah, 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 mumbo jumbo, it's looking at walking and body weight squats to interrupt your bouts of sitting activity. So it's looking at walking and squats as your activity snacks and how doing that or incorporating those could increase your protein synthesis when you have prolonged sitting periods. And protein synthesis, when we talk about that, that's really just like your muscle building, right? So when we have protein synthesis or we're being more anabolic, that means that we are trying to build or put on muscle mass. So the PMID, if you want to go check out this article, is 359 52344, and it was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology. And it's investigating how brief bouts of physical activity during prolonged sitting affect muscle protein synthesis. So the study overview, I'm going to talk through this. It's going to sound a little sciencey at first, but then we're going to break it down. So, this was a research study done from the University of Toronto, and it was conducted over a randomized crossover trial involving 12 healthy adults. And so it's not a huge study. It's not like a lot of people. It was seven males and five females, and the average age was 23 years old. But the participants underwent three separate 7.5 hour sessions. So these three different sessions we're looking at, the first one was just continuous sitting. So the participants were all just sitting continuously for 7.5 hours. The second session was a walk session. So they would have their sitting interrupted every 30 minutes with brief walking. So, they were still sitting throughout that 7.5 hour period, but every 30 minutes they would interrupt their sitting with brief walking. And then the third session, they would interrupt their sitting every 30 minutes with body weight squats. And during each session, the participants, they consumed two mixed macronutrient meals enriched with labeled phenylalanine. Say that 5 times fast. So the labeled phenylalanine is used as a tracer in experiments to study metabolic pathways and protein synthesis. So basically, what can happen is when the participants consume this substance, the scientists can track the movement of the phenylalanine within a cell or organism to trace the dietary amino acid incorporation into muscle proteins. So basically, they're looking at like how is this substance getting into the muscle cell, or right? So this is what they were tracking to be able to tell, oh, is muscle protein synthesis happening? So they took muscle biopsies from the vastus lateralis, which that's a muscle located on the outside part of the thigh, right below your gluteus maximus muscle. And they analyzed that to assess the myofibrillar protein synthesis, AKA they were looking at the muscle fibers. So they were trying to assess the muscle fibers and anabolic signaling pathways. So again, let's reminder on anabolic versus catabolic. When we are anabolic, we are building up, like building muscle. When we're catabolic, we're like breaking muscle down. So they wanted to look at the anabolic signaling pathways. So again, if that was a lot of science, that's the worst of it, I promise. If you're like a science person and you love that stuff, I hope you enjoyed. But the key findings from this study. So that basically I'm just trying to reiterate to you guys by sharing the sciencey stuff that this is how they were tracking it. So you're not like, oh, were they just like, is this for real or not, right? To give it a little bit more substance. But their key findings. So what they found was that the groups that did walking and squatting, they had enhanced protein synthesis. So both the walk and the squat conditions showed significantly higher rates compared to the sitting group. Specifically, sitting versus squats every 30 minutes increased it by 29%. So the group that was squatting every 30 minutes, they had increased protein synthesis by 29%. And the group that went for a brief walk every 30 minutes, they had increased protein synthesis by 48%. Pretty amazing, pretty drastic versus just like sitting and being sedentary throughout that whole 7.5 hour period. They also noticed better anabolic signaling. So the squat condition compared to the sitting group indicated enhanced anabolic signaling. So it was better signaling when they were incorporating some squats throughout that sitting period versus when they were just sitting. And then also they saw increased amino acid availability. So the plasma phenylalanine enrichment that didn't differ significantly across those conditions of sitting, walking, or squatting, which suggests that the increased muscle protein synthesis was due to the improved utilization of dietary amino acids rather than increased availability. Again, what the actual F, Megan? Does all that mean? Again, this is also a thing too. If you want to go look it up, go search for the PMID so you can read through it slower. That might be helpful too. But I'm going to break it down. Like, what does this imply? Basically, what this study is showing is what we already know to be true, but some people just need a research paper or study behind it to like actually believe it. Like, we know movement's important, right? Yes. but still we can overlook the small things like just getting up and walking away from our desk or walking around the house while we're taking a phone call or something like that. We're like, that's not going to make that big of a difference. Not a big deal, but it actually is. That's what I'm trying to share with you guys in this episode and sharing this study because it highlights that incorporating these brief, quote unquote activity snacks like walking or body weight squats during prolonged sitting periods can actually enhance the body's efficiency in utilizing dietary amino acids, which amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So it's going to enhance how your body uses those for muscle protein synthesis, AKA building muscle. And you guys, this is the muscle makeover. This is what we are all about here. We are all about body recomposition and having a strong body, strong mind, not just being skinny, right? We're not looking to just be skinny here. We want to be strong and we talk a lot about building muscle and how that's going to help out our hormones, our metabolism, our longevity, our body composition, all that good stuff. So literally guys, just simple interventions like having these activity snacks could be a very easy practical strategy to mitigate the negative effects of sedentary behavior on your muscle health, aka get up from your freaking desk. That's what I'm trying to say right now. So like when we just are sitting so much nowadays, like even myself personally, like I work for myself, but I actually sit at my desk more than I when I was working a corporate job. So I understand, hey, that corporate life, you guys, or being in meetings all day, right? We just have a lot of sit time, or maybe you travel a lot. Maybe you're, um, you know, a, a flight attendant, or maybe you're traveling sales, whatever it is. We end up sitting a lot of the time. So this is something right now that I am especially appreciating so much, like exercise or activity snacks, because I am sitting for hours on end with my baby boy in the NICU, and I'm doing a ton of back-to-back sitting. Like I am still pumping every 3 hours, and then I'm getting Ryder, my baby boy, out of his little incubator bed for at least 2 hours at a time. So I might I might pump and then hold Ryder and then pump and then eat and then take a phone call or work on my computer and then pump again. I could easily go 5 or 6 hours or even the whole day just sitting. Like, no joke. Like, if I wasn't intentional about getting up, I could go 5 or 6 plus hours literally not getting up from like a seated position. And of course, Rolo, can you please be quiet? Rolo's whining at Oreo because he wants one of her toys. Um, so hopefully you can hear me over him. But I am intentionally trying to get a morning and evening walk in. So that's like intentional exercise activity, right? Like, cause I know my day is going to involve a lot of sitting. So I am trying to be intentional about a morning and evening walk. And I still haven't resumed working out yet since my C-section. But during the day, I am trying to break up all of that sit time that I'm having with even a quick walk down the hallway or a quick walk to like there's a parent's break room with a refrigerator and coffee and stuff. Even if I'm just walking down to the break room or I'm walking down the stairs and back. And once I'm clear to work out more, I will for sure be doing some body weight squats in Ryder's room. For now, I'm just taking little walking exercise, snacks or activity snacks. But all that to say, let this be your friendly reminder to freaking move your body throughout the day. Like even if it feels trivial or like it's not quote unquote doing much, it is and it all adds up. And I have so many clients who sit all day for work, like I mentioned, and many who have desk jobs or are top executives sitting all day in meetings. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to break up your sit time with some movement, not only for your muscle maintenance, which is what this study was really particularly looking at was the impact on your muscle, but also for your blood circulation, for your digestion, for your mental health, and so much more. Just taking those little exercise snacks or activity snack breaks is going to be so crucial. And trust me when I say I really do know what it feels like to quote unquote not have the time. Like I feel like right now I'm a slave to pumping and I know that'll get better, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna like pump my life away. I'm like pump my tits off. Like I'm just pumping all the time. But I know what it feels like to not have time, but you have to make time for this. And so I want you to be encouraged and go get your exercise snacks in throughout the day. It is really not that hard. You just have to be intentional. Like I could easily, like the first few weeks of getting adjusted to this new routine, I wasn't being good about this because I was still trying to figure everything out. And I still probably wouldn't be getting any movement in throughout the day if I wasn't being intentional about it. It's not hard. I just have to be intentional. So go out, be encouraged, do this. It's not hard. You just have to like be intentional and put it in throughout your day. And if you want my team to help with your fitness and nutrition plan, then you can book a free strategy call with me and just head to the show notes and you can click on the link to book a call and pick a time that works best for you. But that is it for today, you guys. I hope that this was enlightening and I hope that maybe some of you geeked out a little bit like I did. But I just thought this was so interesting and kind of backing what we already know to be true that being less sedentary and getting more movement in is critical and so important. So I'll leave you with that, you guys, and I will catch you on the next episode.